In this comparison, it's the Kia Seltos versus the Chevrolet Trailblazer, and they're both brand new.
And they're both in the hottest segment of the industry, the new small utility space. So let's get into it.
The Kia Seltos offers two 4-cylinder engines. The 2-liter with a CVT has 146 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. The top SX trim, which we tested, gets a 1.6-liter turbo with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. It has 175 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque.
The Chevy Trailblazer also has two different engines. They're both 3-cylinder turbocharged units. The front-wheel drive base engine is a 1.2-liter engine matched to a CVT. It has 137 horsepower, but 162 pound-feet of torque. Now, most people will buy all-wheel drive, and when you do that, you get a larger 1.3-liter engine with a 9-speed automatic transmission. It's rated at 155 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque. The one you're looking at here is the RS trim. Now, it's interesting the way these two companies package these engines. If you want to get the most powerful engine with the Kia, you got to buy the top model.
Yeah.
And the inverse is true with Chevrolet. The least powerful engine is really only sold with the base front-wheel drive. They give you more power for more trims.
Yes. And with the Trailblazer, you can get the 1.3-liter larger engine on all trims, but it's all-wheel drive.
It seems that more people are going to want more power than less.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Kia only offers that 1.6 on one trim. Over at Hyundai, with the Kona, they offer it on more trims.
And that means you have to spend well over $30,000 on that trim for the turbo engine.
We're going to get into the pricing in a moment. Pricing is odd too. We'll get to that, so stick around. The Kia Seltos is based on the same platform as the Hyundai Kona. It does have sharp handling, but it is a little bit bigger, which means it's taller and longer, and you do notice that compared to its smaller sibling.
As for the Trailblazer, it has great torque with the 1.3-liter engine. Maximum torque comes on at just 1,600 RPM, which is very low in the rev range. The steering has a vague steering feel to me, which is overly boosted and quite light. The RS model does have a sporty drive to it, and you definitely feel a few more bumps in the road.
The power in this 3-cylinder Trailblazer is nothing short of remarkable.
I know. It has so much torque. Like when you want it to go, it goes.
You have no idea there's a 3-cylinder at work, and it actually has a pretty good sound as well.
Yeah.
And 3-cylinder engines have been around for a while. We've had it in the Ford products, I would say, for about 8-10 years now.
Yeah.
And those engines went on to win World Engine of the Year a couple of times in a row. So it's technology that exists, and it's actually quite good.
As for the Seltos, I thought the ride was really smooth, and it feels like there's plenty of power, especially with the turbo engine that we reviewed.
So every week, Andrea does this exact same comparison a few days earlier on Instagram.
Yep.
And people load up with comments, and we use a few of them in this video that lands just a couple of days later. So that's each and every Sunday. It's motormouth_Andrea.
Interestingly enough, both of these are manufactured in South Korea, but the Trailblazer seems like a cooler vehicle overall. But Kia's 5-year, 100,000-kilometer new car warranty is a big advantage over GM cars.
The next comment is, I like the Trailblazer. Although both vehicles offer great value, the Trailblazer offers more torque and horsepower, which is what I like. I also believe that you can get better incentives with the Trailblazer if you're on a fixed budget. I also like the styling with the Trailblazer. It looks more rugged than the Seltos. But if I could max and stretch my budget and I needed this size vehicle, I would try and get the Mazda CX-30.
We're going to focus on the all-wheel drive models. The Seltos all-wheel drive comes standard with halogen headlights, 17-inch wheels, 18-inch wheels are available in the top trim, a spare tire, body-colored and heat-power adjustable side view mirrors. LED taillights are available, but on the EX trim, 2 down from the top trim, and LED headlights are available on the EX Premium, 1 down from the top trim.
The Trailblazer comes standard with halogen headlamps and tail lamps, 17-inch wheels. 18-inch wheels do come standard on the top trim. Other standard features include a spare tire and body-colored door handles. As for heated side mirrors, you have to move up 1 from the base to get those. By the way, if you want to watch the full-length reviews that we did of each of these vehicles, you can click the cards here or you can look at the link below. And in the video of the Seltos, we joked about the unibrow. It's got this grille and headlamp design that looks like it's one sort of unibrow.
Yeah.
That's the one element I don't love. The rest of it I think looks good though.
Yeah, I think it looks good too. The front grille looks great, and I think that it has really clean lines, don't you think?
Yeah, now the Trailblazer has sort of that classic rugged SUV sporty kind of look.
It looks great. And, you know, one of our followers on Instagram actually said it reminds them of a Mini with kind of that two-tone color combination. I really like it. I have to say I prefer the exterior look of it over the Seltos.
Oh, one thing before we move on size, these are actually the closest.
I know.
Yeah, so I had to sit through a Zoom meeting. This is my life now for product launches of the Trailblazer. And they said the one it compares closest to in size is the Seltos. So this is a good comparison.
Yeah, great comparison.
Now the Seltos comes standard with heated front seats, an 8-inch display audio system. An optional 10.25-inch unit is available on the top two trims. There's a 3.5-inch driver's display. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, remote keyless entry. Now, if you want features like a heated steering wheel and a leather-wrapped shift knob, synthetic leather, and a sunroof, you have to move up to the EX trim. The second from the top trim is called the EX Premium, and you get heated rear seats, air-cooled front seats. A head-up display is available on the top trim, along with the Bose Premium sound system.
On the other hand, one of the most impressive things about this Trailblazer is the technology. It comes standard with a 7-inch touchscreen, an 8-inch is optional, and it includes Bluetooth connectivity for 2 devices at the same time. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both standard, a 3.5-inch driver display, and cloth seats. Wireless charging is also available. If you want the panoramic sunroof and the power liftgate, it will cost you almost $2,000 in a package. Heated front seats are available on the LT trim and above. I must have combed through every package, all of the specs. I cannot find a heated steering wheel anywhere. So we're just going to assume that it doesn't come with one. And you look at the Seltos, it just comes with so much more.
Yeah.
And it's based on each trim. Whereas the Trailblazer has features for each trim, but then you have to get all of these packages.
Yeah, and we're going to get into the pricing in a moment. Kia doing it again, giving people what they want, like heated steering wheel, heated seats, and all that kind of stuff, sort of on the base models.
Yes.
Chevrolet not offering that, but then they load you up with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is definitely a selling feature. There's no question about it. But some things, you know, something's got to give, right?
Well, I wonder too with the Trailblazer if Chevrolet is going for a younger buyer with all of that tech that's available.
Are you telling me younger buyers would not appreciate a heated steering wheel?
Of course they would.
Now, another thing in the Trailblazer camp, you mentioned it, you get the sunroof and you get the power tailgate.
Yeah.
It's really the only product that offers that outside of the Mazda CX-30. They offer it on their top trim, but at least you can get it on any trim in the Trailblazer.
That's the great thing about the Trailblazer is you can actually get the lower trims and add all of these packages. So you can get the sunroof and you can get the power liftgate. So I think that's kind of nice, but then at the same time, you can get the top trim on the Trailblazer and you still have to add packages, which is a bit ridiculous.
Once again, we'll get to the price in a second. Now, we always joke about interiors that have a lot of hard plastic. We call it plastic fantastic, and the Seltos certainly was covered with hard plastic, but not the case with the Trailblazer.
No, the Trailblazer is definitely better, but I want to just give one comment about the Seltos is that everything that you touched in the Seltos was soft.
So the armrests, the steering wheel,
all of that.
the touch points.
That's right. And the same with the Trailblazer, but you could certainly see less hard plastic in the Trailblazer. When it came to size, they are both quite comfortable.
Yeah.
I like sitting up higher and looking out over the dashboard. They were both like that. There was plenty of room in the back seats if you have a family, you know, the second row.
Yeah, like I said, they're the closest really on size in this class.
And cargo space is really good as well. I think a family would be quite happy with this.
The Kia Seltos front-wheel drive starts at just over $23,000. The first all-wheel drive is just over $25,000. And the top trim that we drove, the SX Turbo with the more powerful engine, is just around $32,500.
The Chevrolet Trailblazer LS front-wheel drive is almost $24,000. The LS all-wheel drive is closer to $26,000, and the RS trim, which we tested, comes in at $30,500.
But we're not done with the Trailblazer. You have all of these different packages. Regardless of the trim, you need to add these packages like the sunroof and the power tailgate, which I think it's worth the $2,000 to get those.
Oh, for sure it's worth the $2,000, but it's just too pricey then. You know, if you can get a deal on the Trailblazer when you're at that level, great. But let's say that this is a second vehicle for me, or let's just say my budget is under $30,000. The Kia Seltos just offers more value.
Okay, so the top Seltos was right around $33,000, right?
Yeah.
And then the Trailblazer that we drove was $37,000. But you know what? General Motors always has an incentive on their cars, pretty much year round. I don't understand why they don't just make the price more competitive and not rely on incentives.
I know. I don't understand that either, but you see that often. And when it comes to warranty, we can't overlook Kia's warranty, 5 years or 100,000 kilometers. And Chevy is 60,000 kilometers.
Yeah, in 36 months, yeah, which is the sort of the industry standard. So yeah, if you can get a deal on the Trailblazer, yeah, knock yourself out. But they're both selling incredibly well.
The Kia Seltos non-turbo all-wheel drive, which is probably what most people are going to buy, gets 8.8 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 7.6 on the highway. The turbo engine gets 9.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 7.9 on the highway.
Because the Chevy Trailblazer with all-wheel drive gets the larger engine, we're going to focus on that. That 1.3 liter turbo gets 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 7.8 on the highway.
Overall, these are both great vehicles for a family or for a single person for that matter. I really like the rugged look of the Trailblazer, but I like the value in the Seltos.
The Kia is kind of what I expected it would be. It was going to offer good value. It's going to drive well. It's well packaged. That's kind of what you expect when you drive a new Kia. The Trailblazer, on the other hand, surprised me. It isn't what I thought it was going to be. It drove better than I thought it would. The engine was a surprise. The styling is strong, in my opinion, and I think the interior is arguably better as well. It just comes down to packaging and price, which I think is where the Chevrolet falls short, which is really disappointing. And someone mentioned it in our comments. These are both made in Korea.
Yeah.
Right? So the Chevy Trailblazer, originally General Motors owned Daewoo.
Yes.
And that's what we're getting here.
Right. And I agree with you on the interior for sure, especially the trim that we drove. It has all of this red stitching throughout, and even the shifter had an RS detail on it. And I think these little things really make a difference. You know, when you're buying a vehicle and you want the value there.
So I would say in the favor of the Trailblazer, surprisingly good.
Yeah.
And in the Kia's case, kind of what I expect from Kia. So the way this works is these videos drop every Tuesday, the comparison videos, but 2 days before, Andrea does the same thing on Instagram. What is it?
Motormouth_Andrea. Follow me.
And also, I'd love for you to subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is just one of the videos we put out every week. We have our live show on Monday. We do the his and her test drives every Saturday. We do retro cars throughout the week. There's so much going on.
So much going on. And my Instagram kind of gives you a sneak peek of what's coming up in the week and what cars we're filming and when all the videos drop.
All right. So thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.